All right, everybody, ready to Wednesday. Molly and I are both in hotels. We got a loosey-goosey show for you today.
We kind of really do. It's like we just have chit-chat energy. And frankly, I'm loving it. We're like talking about some theories on Trump's files and doing a little personality analysis, a little Occam's razor situation, just goofing off.
And I talk about the end of the poker game that never existed at the industry standard All Things D and Code conference that I hosted the last edition of last night, and some big poker hands with my friend Sky Dayton.
It's a nice requiem for Code too. It's really hard to see that one go away. We are going to do like a little bit of tech news, kinda. We're going to talk about Instagram canning shopping. We're going to cover Apple's event. We're going to talk about who is or who is not dating Pete Davidson. Spoiler alert, it's all of us. We're doing whatever.
And we're going to talk about Zuckerberg's big MMA energy. His big incel energy is coming out. I have a big theory about what's going on with that MMA video of Zuckerberg. And then Molly and I do a combo edition, the Blueprint Mollywood edition. We're going to find out how Molly got her career to this amazing level and what she's planning to do with the next 20 years to have even more impact in the world. It's going to be a great episode.
Stick with us.
This Week in Startups is brought to you by SnackMagic and SwagMagic are global gifting platforms and the most stress-free and customizable ways to delight employees or customers. Get 10% cash back up to $1,000 until October 15th with code HOLIDAY, and see more at snackmagic.com/twist. Visa, are you a small business owner? Did you know that Visa's online small business hub has tools, discounts, and resources to help you run your business? Learn more at visa.com/smallbusinesshub. And Brave is an internet privacy company on a mission to protect your personal info online. Download Brave today at brave.com/twist to browse faster, search privately, and so much more. All in a single click.
Did you see like now this Trump stuff with the documents? They actually, they were like, oh, there might be nuclear stuff in there. They're like, oh my God, there's not nuclear stuff. And now it turns out there's nuclear stuff. I just I can't keep up with this. It's just, the swings are so crazy.
I think no one except for people from his camp had said there wouldn't be nuclear stuff. Like the DOJ was always like, there might be nuclear stuff. And then now they're like, yeah, there was. Yeah, I mean,
it's just crazy.
It's going to jail.
What's the motive? What's his motive? I know he's a narcissist maniac, but in this case, I'm like, what's the actual motivation to take these documents and then thumb your nose at the FBI and DOJ as they give you every possible chance? I mean, it's not a political show. I'm not talking about politics. I'm just talking about human nature. What is the person doing that? If the FBI came to you, the DOJ, and they do subpoenas and meetings, and you're just like, hey, you can't really have this stuff. You kind of got to give it back, and you just give the person every chance.
Yep. But imagine
just don't understand
that you're a screaming narcissist, and you don't believe that any viewpoint is valid except for yours. Like, he doesn't believe that the DOJ or FBI...
You're talking about reality.
Or right? Justice Department have any
about my reality
whatsoever.
Yeah, talking about my reality, right? My viewpoint is the one that matters.
I know you can relate to this. Like a teeny bit.
A little, maybe a little.
You're just like, no, this is how it should be. And I'm in charge in my own mind. And so it's going to be like this. And whatever they say, I'm not going to. And then also imagine that you have like $500 million in debt and are probably an actual foreign asset. And then you have all the answers you need. I mean, seriously, remember he came out of office and they were like, there are $400 million in loans coming due that he can't pay.
It's a lot of pressure.
Hope he doesn't have any secrets. And
it's a lot of jumps.
He has all the secrets. Like
that's definitely a lot of jumps.
I don't know. Money is the easiest jump of all.
Well, it's interesting. This does relate to venture capital.
Need money, do crimes.
Well, people are now saying the $2 billion venture fund that Jared put together, the nuclear secrets. I mean, people are making a lot of jumps here, but the nuclear secrets of another country are Israel's, and Saudi Arabia would be very interested in that. And so this is like jump.
I mean, I pray that stuff's not. I've seen that stuff too, and I pray it's not true. The one that makes me way more upset even than that, though, is the stories about how we were losing like a lot of assets. Have you seen those? Like there were news stories in 2019-ish that were like, hey, the CIA is warning the United States government that we're losing a lot of assets. Like a lot of
people in the field, spies.
People in the field are being killed.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I got to be honest. I think that's an incredibly small chance that that's what's going on here. I
pray that that's not what's happening, but like, I don't know.
I know some people who've met with Trump, and they said like the first thing he does is, like whether I know somebody who was at Mar-a-Lago, and I know somebody who met with him in his office, and they said it is like memorabilia central. And he will be like, here's Mike Tyson's boxing gloves. Here's, this basketball from this game.
Right.
Yes. And so he is obsessed with the relationships, people he knows, memorabilia. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to some very important friends of mine about this, Molly.
Yeah.
And these were like really important people. I was
like, really, what is more impressive? I mean, with your scratchy voice right now, it's actually terrifying. So I'm just going to it sounds so close. It sounds so close.
Okay. I was with Mark Cuban. Okay.
I showed him my documents. I showed him my nuclear secrets. He was very impressed.
Okay, wow, I'm sorry, everybody. Whoa. All right. I need to get a hot tea. All right. So this is it. This is what I'm telling you. I think it's a memorabilia play. Beginning and end. Full stop. I think
for him,
selling secrets.
It's probably an ego and memorabilia play, but
98%.
People are sneaking in there.
No, I don't think any of that's happening. I think this guy is such a madman.
You don't think that there was any... If you were a foreign operative, like you're pretending that spies don't exist. If you're a foreign operative, like that lady who pretended to be a Rothschild, and you know that this moron is like sitting on nuclear secrets because you're not going to take candy from a baby?
That's a fair point. He must have
baby
a
on
ton
the
of
planet.
There must be a ton of spies.
There are spies
working
everywhere
at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
Oh God, I didn't think of that. Yeah, if I was Russian, Chinese, Israeli, Mossad, KGB, whatever Secret Service.
Yes.
Yeah, of course
so
I would send
That's why you don't take it out of the secret building, because spies are everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah, I would be like, I would plant somebody in the United States as a real estate developer speculator. Mm-hmm. I'd have them move to Miami. I'd have them throw some parties. I'd have them apply for membership at 3 golf courses, join 2 of them. And then I would have them do real estate deals in the hopes that eventually you would be in the former president's circle somehow because you bought 2 apartments in Miami for a couple of $1 million each.
Exactly.
And that would just instantly ingratiate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Candy, a good plan.
Baby.
Yeah.
I mean, literally a lady pretending to be a member of the Rothschild family was photographed with Trump
great.
And Lindsey Graham. And she's a Russian agent, most likely.
What's happening in the world?
Exactly.
But anyway, I like this theory. I think we have the theory.
Probably literally lost spies.
Yeah.
Because this idiot, for his own gratification, you're almost certainly right about that, was just like, I need mementos, and I need those mementos to be nuclear secrets from other countries. I think we figured it out.
I think we should be in the KGB or CIA or something. Because here's the thing. Sometimes the most obvious thing is the thing. So the most obvious thing is that a person obsessed with memorabilia looks at
and power,
here's the president of France's personal life. He obviously reportedly has those documents, and here's some countries' weapon systems. Right. Now, if you were like entertaining a couple people, and you're like, hey, by the way, you ever hear of the president of France? Check this out. Dude's having a really fun time. Here's some tea. And then I do think you're absolutely right that like if Twitter has spies working at it, and they caught spies working at Facebook, I believe, why wouldn't there be spies working at Mar-a-Lago? Like they're going to work anywhere that's in proximity to power and information.
Yeah.
So
that is the first place I would put all my spies. And
then if you were the FBI and the DOJ, and the National Archive of Records, or whatever it's called, you would be highly attuned to this playbook. Therefore, you would take this very seriously. Therefore, you would risk the claims of partisanship and targeting Trump or a former president by another political party, yada, yada, you would actually risk that, knowing that that risk is not as important as the potential reality of us leaking things that are
destabilizing nuclear peace.
So dumb. I mean,
right.
I mean, it's sort of like,
it's easy. Like, and we have to be able to hold these two thoughts. This is actually really valuable content. And yes, Nick, we should totally leave it in the show because we have to have these two thoughts in our head, right? Like Trump could be a 100% egomaniacal clown. True fact.
Total
right?
clown. Yeah.
Probably kept this stuff like, sure, maybe somebody wanted to buy him off on the other end, but most likely,
you don't need to buy him off. You just need to buy an apartment. Buy an apartment.
Exactly. So
he makes $300,000. That's enough.
So he could feel awesome and he could show people off and he could, all of those things are totally true. And also it is the gravest threat to national security we maybe have ever faced because you could destabilize the entire fragile nuclear piece of the world by being the right spy, buying the right apartments.
Yes. All right.
So it still is like the crime of the century, even if he just did it because he's an egomaniac idiot.
But, okay. So,
pardon me, I'm sorry.
No. We triangulated it. The piece I still don't understand is, and I think this might be strategy. This is the one I'm kind of triangulating on. You know, if you were the party who's being told to give back the documents, and they've outlined it to you explicitly over, this seems to be like 6 months or 12 months of drama.
Over a year, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a year of drama. Now, and they are escalating. And you have attorneys. They may be dipshits, but they're attorneys nonetheless. And you see this is escalating. So you would think if you were the counterparty to the FBI and DOJ giving you subpoenas and asking for tapes of the thing and coming and visiting, and you'd think at some point you'd be like, you know what? Okay, there's a lot of other memorabilia. This last 5% of memorabilia, I probably should just give it to them. So I can put this to rest because it's becoming now a more acute situation. So then why would my Columbo, like, why would you push the issue there, man? Because they did tell you to give it back. And they did give you the subpoena thing. Right. So why would you push the issue? I have a theory, but I want to hear yours, Molly. Do you have a theory in this gamesmanship? Okay, we've outlined it. Spies are everywhere. That is not unique to the former president. They're in Twitter, they're in Facebook, they're in Morgan Stanley, they're out working at hotels, whatever. So there are spies everywhere. This information, obviously, Trump loves memorabilia. Okay, so this is non-controversial. We know all this stuff. Spies everywhere. He loves memorabilia. But now this third piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Why not just resolve the issue when it's becoming acute? Why would you drag this on is the thing that I've been struggling with. I have a theory, but I want to hear yours first.
It's one of two theories, right?
Okay, here we go.
In my mind, it is either...
All right, what's the theory?
Either the worst case scenario, which is actual active espionage. It's either, like, worst case scenario is someone's literally paying him for these. I'm just saying, these are the two theories.
Okay.
One is active espionage. Someone's paying him for these secrets.
Yeah.
Two,
I put that at less than 1%.
I'm with you, and I find that actually unlikely because you don't even have to pay him. You just sneak in and steal it.
Yeah, I mean, also, he is smart enough to know that would be actual espionage. Yeah.
Right.
And he knows he's being watched. So
exactly.
If he knows he's being watched, and he does believe in the deep state, and he's going to go do espionage, I don't buy it. It's like 0.001. It's like a 1 in 10,000. He'd be insane enough to do that. But okay, we both agree.
You don't
Good.
even have
What's
to
the other one? Yes. What's the other one?
The second one is, I don't think he's okay, and I think he thinks he's president. Right? Like, I think it's the level of egomania and delusion that is so intense that that literally he does not think they have the authority to request these documents from him.
Okay. So I think that's pretty close to my theory. My theory is he is so addicted to attention that when he sees a situation like this come up, he thinks, every other time I've been involved in a controversy, it has created more people talking about me, which has then led to good things. So a narcissist, maniac, celebrity, person addicted. I'm not saying this like, I look at him as a celebrity. So, there are celebrities who just keep doing crazy things that you're like, why would you do that? And it's like, why would you date that person and then break up with him 3 months later? I'm thinking of Kim Kardashian here, right? with Pete Davidson and Kanye. You're like, why would you do that? Like, Kanye's crazy. Pete Davidson's unique. These are two very unique individuals who have been very public about their mental illness struggles. Why would Kim Kardashian, who seems to have it all together and is like a billionaire who makes incredible companies and is one of the most savvy marketers that every time I see what she does, I appreciate it more. Why would she do that? Why would she be with two people with bona fide mental illness who have been public about it? Mm-hmm. Instead of being with somebody normal, who's successful, who's a contemporary of hers, who could build a relationship that would be fulfilling to her.
Yep. Because it's boring.
And it's like, okay, well, actually we know why. Because dating Pete Davidson puts her in the media cycle at the number one story on every tabloid for 6 months. Dating, marrying, and having babies with Kanye puts her at the top of the tip of the spear in publicity for 5 years. That's the reason. I mean, it sounds super cynical, but
no,
she's
it's
a savant.
Though. Like that, you become a celebrity because of how you are, right? Yes. It takes intentionality. It takes a crap ton of work.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it is not even uncommon for decades, as long as celebrity has been around, there have been like relationships that only exist to get the other attention.
Anyway, it's a long way of saying I have an announcement.
Anyway, yes, it's for attention and delusion.
And so anyway, it's a long way of saying, now that I've gone Hollywood, that I'm disclosing now that Pete Davidson and I have been having an affair for the last 6 weeks, and that's why Kanye and Pete Davidson broke up. I am going to use this technique. I am now going to start dating Pete Davidson so that I can get more ratings for the shows, raise more funds, and I just want to make you laugh, Molly. It's literally what I love to do, is just make Molly laugh on the show. So I do this whole build-up just to deliver that punchline.
I was just imagining, like, are we all going to have to date Pete Davidson now?
Pretty much.
Everybody in America eventually.
Listen, I can't tell you what to do.
You want to succeed.
But I brought you here to get the ratings up. It has succeeded in the first 6 months, and I've been thinking about it, and I think Pete Davidson, shout out. Molly is, I'm not saying she's available. I'm not saying she's not available, but she could be your Kim 2.0.
Call me Pete.
It's time for you to beat the holiday rush with SnackMagic and their new partner in crime, SwagMagic. Yes, SnackMagic and SwagMagic are a global gifting platform that I have used and loved. It's stress-free, and it's a customizable way for you to delight your employees and your customers. All you need is the recipient's email. You don't need their address. What happens with SnackMagic is you take your 100 customers you love, you take the 100 consultants you love and that you want to show customer love for or partner love for. And what do? You email them. And then they get a little link that they click on, and they can see thousands of curated snacks, drinks, office supplies, and now branded swag options. How annoying is it when somebody sends you swag that you don't like? You throw it right in the garbage. Whether you want to delight one person or 1,000, you can do it in the same amount of time. Boom. You just put the email addresses into SnackMagic, and they do all the work. You can get 10% cash back on up to $1,000 until October 15th with the code HOLIDAY. Holiday. It would be so nice. Just see more at snackmagic.com/twist, snackmagic.com/twist, and use the promo code, like Madonna says, HOLIDAY. All right. So anyway, welcome to the show, everybody.
Welcome to the actual show. We are going to talk about startup stuff.
Well, so, of course, we're talking about tech and startups, but I just, Anyway, you are in San Francisco. Is it tonight you have your big talk?
Tonight. Yeah. I got my big talk at the Commonwealth Club tonight. Thank you.
People can still get tickets or not?
People can still get tickets, as far as I know. I don't know the capacity situation, but I would imagine they can.
All right, so type in Mollywood
still get tickets because
Club.
Everybody in tech is at code anyway, so.
That's true, yeah. So it might be a little light there, yeah.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. So I am, and so anybody, type Commonwealth Club, type Mollywood, do it on Twitter, do it wherever. Maybe we'll put it in the show notes. Oh, tweet about it, great. So Mollywood. Anyway, moving on.
So that's happening, and you're in LA. We're having an all-hotel show today for those who are not watching on video. I am in the very plush, very beautiful Waldorf Astoria, which in Beverly Hills is an amazing hotel. Ooh, God, I like being rich. You're like, I love it.
He's like, the idea of spending $1,000 a night on a hotel to me was like insane.
Yeah.
Like I always topped out at like 300 and like 400. I would get very anxious. And then at some point I was like, I only stay in hotels 10 times a year. It's not going to make a difference in my life if I spend 500 or 1,000. So I just decided to like maybe let loose a little bit once in a while. I still mostly stay at, where do I have my most points? I think it's at I have the Starward program that's now the Bonvoy. So I have 2 million Bonvoy points. So I mostly stay at like Marriott's and St. Regis and whatever, because I have these 2 million points and I don't pay for it. But I treated myself to this. So anyway.
Good for you. Is it that different? I wonder. I sort of feel like the difference between a $200 a night hotel and a $600 a night hotel is usually not as much as I want it to be, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. It's not 3 times better. So yes.
It's not 3 times better. It's still just like a coffee maker and a robe and a,
Yeah, sheets are what it's about for me. And so when you stay in some of these elite places, Amman, which is $1,000 to $1,500 a night, or Waldorf, and then the next stage down is like St. Regis and Ritz-Carlton. Those are $500 a night. I like those. So basically from that level to the next level is not much difference, but there is a difference in service and like how they treat you. So, I always talk about Amman level. I've been studying how they treat customers. So I am kind of studying how they treat customers. 3 people greeted me downstairs. They call you sir. They offered you the water. They offered you, would you like cold water or room temperature water? Now this seems like really stupid, but people do have a preference for that. And that's the kind of detail that I try to put into products.
Federer, exactly. They care.
The people care. And so I just try to, and then when you want to go to the restaurant, Jean-Georges is the restaurant here. And then I also got a haircut here. So they had like a men's stylist haircut here. So I got a little haircut, it's very convenient. So it's quite nice. But it's also very good for meetings. I find it's a really good flex. So I'm meeting with the reality TV producers today. I signed my reality TV deal. So you'll be doing some cameos on that show. And so, I'm meeting with them and then I tell them I'm at the Waldorf and, where I go up to the roof and, I'll order the lobster salad, $60 or something. And I just, it's a little flex. It's a mini flex to make sure they know. And then people treat you differently when they know you're loaded. Period, full stop.
It's
and
true.
I know that. And so I do a little mini flex on them.
Love it.
And that's it. Listen, now that you're a venture capitalist, a lot of people were talking about you last night.
They were?
At the party. Well, all the journalists were there. So, I come up and I host this party with my friend Brooke Hammerling. She's like the number one PR person. And my friend Sky Dayton, who created Earthlink. And so 20 years ago, Sky and I started playing poker. And our friend Brooke, who was representing Sky's Helio at the time, Sky created a beautiful phone with SK Telecom, a smartphone, 3 years before Steve Jobs did. And it failed, but, he basically ran into the brick wall that was Steve Jobs. But in LA, all the celebrities had Helio phones because they were the most advanced. And so anyway, Sky and myself would play cards. And then our friend Mark Cuban, who was at the time doing broadcast.com, I was a journalist. We'd play basketball at this conference in Laguna. And then it became the All D's conference. And anyway, basically this series of events, it went across Industry Summit, which was John Patel's event, All Things D, and then after it, Recode Conference. So we started with John Patel's conference playing poker, and then we started playing at Kara Swisher and Walt Mossberg's. But they're ending it now. My friend Jim Bankoff owns Recode and Vox and New York Magazine. So I hung out with my friend Jim Bankoff last night. He's the one who bought Weblog Inc. off of me. So just a lot of, 20 years of my career in this poker game. Yeah. But I cannot.
How fun.
Yeah, it's very nice.
What a great yearly reunion. That sounds delightful.
Yes, and it's 2 tables and, a little table and a big table. I could talk about it now because we ended it at this event because the Recode conference is ending. But I couldn't talk about it for 20 years because we would be at a hotel and hotels can get a little freaked out if you throw a 50-person poker game. So I'd have to, myself and Sky and Brooke did most of the work. We would have to, you would not believe the navigation. I would be getting $100 bills and paying off people and and making sure that then we would bring in our own food and our own beverages. Then they would get tweaked about that and order room service. Then the noise level, and then we get the presidential suite. And so then we just started saying, listen, we're going to have a poker game. It's for charity. We're going to be playing up there. Do you want the business or not? We'll take the presidential suite for 2 nights, which is $5 or $10 a night. So this thing costs $30,000 to do, but we split up the cost. Yada yada. Anyway, it's the last one, but your name came up because I was talking to Kevin Roos from the New York Times. I was talking to MG Siegler, who has become a venture capitalist. I was talking to Gabe from Tech Meme. Every top journalist comes. A lot of the ones who come on this program as well. And they were asking, how's Molly doing? And I said, well, in fact, she's done 4 deals and 6 months. And, ratings of This Week in Startup went up. And let's just say a lot of journalists were very interested in the path. And so, yeah, you're definitely becoming a trailblazer, like, the 5 or so journalists who have made this jump. Michael Moritz, O'Malley, MG Siegler, myself, and you. And I think those are the 5.
Wow.
notables.
Yeah, pretty much. Chrissy Farr.
Where
was at
she?
CNBC and is now doing health tech investing, I think. But yeah, it's not, I mean, it's like not as many as you would
6.
think.
It's under 10. I mean, there might be other examples that I'm missing here.
Yeah.
But so anyway, your name came up. Everybody says hi. And so I'm playing cards. Everybody likes poker stories. I'm just running the table over. I'm like really in the zone right now in my life in terms of like execution and focus level. And so I am just, it's a $5,000 buying game. I run it up to 30 grand. I'm dominating everybody. To the level of it's hysterical, and there's maybe 100 people come in and out. There's maybe 50 people there at a time. There's 20 people around the table just watching me just dominate every hand. And I can't believe it. I'm playing against my best friend, Sky Dayton, one of my best friends. And I hit a set of 8s. You hit a set of 8s. You got pocket 8s, right? And an 8 comes out. So you got 3 8s. And the board's ace, 9, 8. He bets. I raise. He re-raises. I go all in. He snap calls. I'm like, whoa. This is crazy. Now I got $30,000 in front of me. I got a Prius in front of me. I used one at least. Guess what he has?
He's got aces.
No, he's got 9s.
No? There was an ace on the board. Oh,
but so I have a set of 8s. He has a set of 9s. Like by one, thing. And of course, we run it twice.
That's way worse than aces. At least you could just that's a definitive loss. But
it was
9s
bonkers.
is just
It was
mean.
bonkers.
That's mean.
So anyway,
that's hilarious.
This is my last hand of the night. I could have been up $60,000 or down 5, but
that's how they get you.
That's how they get you.
My son told me the other day that he thinks he should take up gambling because most gamblers quit right before they hit it big.
Take up gambling because most gamblers quit right before they. I do. It's a pretty good one. It's pretty good. Clever. But gambling's I want to start a game, like a lower stakes game with you, and then start inviting maybe some more female VCs or female founders and stuff because
we only have fun. I think because it can feel
only one woman playing out of 20.
I know. It feels like it feels weirdly intimidating, even though like we all play poker. Like I'm like all the women I know play poker. There's just something about the poker game that feels like golf or being in the hot tub or, it's sort of like, but yes,
it doesn't need to,
Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, the hot tub has
more, fun and accessible. The hot tub's no good. That's got to stop.
The hot tub's no good because of bathing suits. People are wearing revealing outfits. It's a little more intimate. Yeah, it's obviously got all those other connotations. But the poker table shouldn't be. Poker table's like golf, like anything else. And what's really great about it is intimidation, math, deception. You start looking at those and, I think men get really into intimidation and aggression and dominating. And then maybe women, that's not like on their top list of things to do on a Thursday night with their friends, is try to intimidate them, take their money, destroy them, and embarrass them.
I think that might be true. I hate to generalize, but that might be true.
I mean, generally women seem, in my experience, to be nicer people than men.
But it doesn't mean
we're going on a wild generalization here. But that's why women should be playing, I think, is because I do think in business, it does get sharp elbowed and it's a very good proving ground. And I think that's why it's become so big in business.
Yeah, I do think that the crossover of poker and business is fascinating. And also, I mean, we would be happy to sit around playing cards, talking it up and committing all kinds of murders, just maybe not the kinds you're thinking of.
Exactly. You probably have other murders. Well, but yeah, I mean, I think
we have so many other murders to commit on a Thursday night.
All right. So anyway, there's your like little background stories.
Fun.
We did a little Trump, trying to figure that out. Did a little poker and conspicuous consumption of hotels, reality TV stuff, all the good stuff going on.
Now you're definitely going to calm down and try to get your voice back, I'm sure.
Well, luckily in this life, I have you. And I can pass the ball to you, and you can do the work, and I can jump in and try to make everybody laugh or do a sniper shot insight. So that's what's going to happen today, folks.
Breaking news. We're both dating Pete Davidson. Let's go.
Are you a small business owner? Did you know that Visa's online small business hub has tools, discounts, and resources to help you run your business? So whether you're a business beginner or an entrepreneurial expert, find the solutions, tools, and tips you need to help take your business to the next level. Plus, if you have a Visa business credit card or debit card, you can get access to cardholder benefits like Visa Savings Edge, a savings program which can help you save on everyday business expenses like office essentials, travel, and more. When you enroll your Visa business card in Visa Savings Edge, you'll have access to valuable offers, which can help turn qualifying business purchases made with your enrolled Visa business card into savings for your business. Learn more at visa.com/smallbusinesshub. Once again, that's visa.com/smallbusinesshub. Visa, a network working for everyone. I mean, I'm going to have to do something with this reality TV stuff to get some attention. I don't know. Like, I don't want to get a DUI or do something stupid like that. What could I do that would be like marginally hilarious and get me on TMZ? I don't know. I have to look at somebody. Can somebody just deconstruct TMZ? Like, what do I have to do?
TMZ, exactly.
What is that? Reverse engineer? Can somebody reverse engineer TMZ?
You need to be spotted on a yacht with Adam Newman. Like,
Perfect.
That would be, right?
Perfect.
Like
yes.
Yeah.
You know what I do? That's what I have to do. I have to hang out with a couple of my high profile friends and get seen at something. I should have done this at Burning Man. I should have leaked photos of myself at Burning Man.
Yes, you really should have.
I'm an idiot. Wait, I can still do that.
Yeah, it's not too late. Do you have them on your phone?
Yeah, but it looks like I had 2 bottles of me looking drunk on the playa.
Right. Maybe because since this is a PR play, like go ahead and stage it. Stage it so that it looks the best for you, you know.
Oh, you know what I should have done?
Authority that he's having people over on his yacht lately. Like I just talked to
I
somebody
have an actual way to do this. I was dancing. It's quite embarrassing. I was dancing, and for some reason, some person or group of people decided that quite literally, like right behind me at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock on the dial. So if I'm looking straight ahead, that's 12, like 5 o'clock, like back right. A group of people decides they're going to put all their backpacks and fur coats in a pile. So I'm grooving, I'm dancing, and literally the next thing I'm looking at the ceiling. Because I'm dancing and I literally trip over a pile. I landed a pile of bags and jackets.
Like costume outfits and
5 people like, oh my God, J. Cal. And I'm like, I'm okay, folks. I'm laying in fur. And 5 people pick me up. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah. They're like, what happened? I'm like, I guess, when you're kids and we used to do this when we were kids. Somebody would go stand behind somebody and put their hands and get down on all fours, and then we push them so they fall over the back of somebody because we were bad kids.
Yeah.
It was basically like that. Now, if I had that on video, people would look, J. Cal, is that a good leak or somebody says bad leak, right? Is it a bad leak as in it's a good leak?
No, it's a good leak. Come on.
It's a good leak. Look at J. Cal falling. He's yeah.
All attention is good attention.
That's what I got to do.
Even the kind that is espionage or whatever. Back to to loop all the way back to the beginning.
I think that's the thing. I think that's what it is like, it's just Trump says, I need attention. This gets me attention. And now I take over the news cycle. I think he literally premeditated because people were like, DeSantis. David Sachs loves DeSantis, hates Trump. He wants DeSantis. And I think Trump's like, how do I level up DeSantis in the news?
I could see him thinking, how do I show that I have more power than him?
Yes.
I don't think, again, because I think he's a baby man on the inside, I think it's mostly pudding up here at this point, that it's not premeditated, but it is probably like, I have more power than him. Look at the nukes, Anyway.
Now let's do the news.
And now I literally was like, this is the show. We're just
I need a Molly's News theme song. Can somebody make me a drop that's a Molly's News? Like breaking news. It's Molly's News. Time for the news with Molly Wood.
Time for the news with Molly Wood. What's going to happen with my shopping?
Okay, go.
This is actually interesting, and I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. We saw this low-key story in The Information, a scoop from The Information, Sylvia Varnum O'Regan. Instagram evidently is going to start scaling back its shopping features because, at some point, especially right during the pandemic, Instagram had gone hard on shopping. You could check out with Instagram. They were just going to try to make it more easy to buy stuff. And let me tell you, like, everybody I know can't stop buying things from Instagram ads. So it makes sense that they were like, how can we get in here and get a piece of it? However, evidently that piece did not turn out to produce as much revenue, one assumes, as they expected, because this was top priority, according to this story, for the past 2 years for Mark Zuckerberg specifically to turn Facebook and Instagram apps into shopping destinations because of Apple's privacy changes causing so much lost revenue from ad tracking.
Wow.
However, apparently they're just going to change that. Instagram is evidently planning to scale back the shopping features to focus on killing TikTok, basically. Short form video content because they've lost so many eyeballs.
Makes sense.
To TikTok, they're like, forget about the shopping, even though that's probably good revenue, and just get the eyeballs back on the service.
They definitely need the balls back at Instagram. They are
on every level.
Hemorrhaging. Oh, well, speaking of thirst traps and trying to get attention, did you see Zuckerberg doing the MMA stuff?
No.
Okay, there's a video of Zuck doing MMA fighting 2 weeks after he was on Joe Rogan, who obviously is the voice of MMA. And so I started thinking about this. I was like, you know what happened? I think Zuck saw like Chamath with the shirt off picture. And then he was like, I'm not getting enough attention. And he saw Bezos with his shirt off, and then there's like this Peter Attila guy who like Tim Ferriss is his doctor. And all these guys are doing testosterone, I think. I don't know who, but this is becoming a thing, human growth hormone, testosterone. Because, I'm of that age where men around me are discussing, shooting themselves full of testosterone and feeling like they're 30 years old again. I think Zuckerberg realizes he's irrelevant. People don't like him. And so he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go MMA fighter. I'm going to get a diesel body. I'm going to take my shirt off. He didn't take his shirt off yet, but I think that's coming in 3 months. And, he saw Chamath get like all this attention. He got a little jelly. He saw Bezos. He got a little more jelly. And he said, I'm going to start getting some attention for myself as a super CEO. I'm going to get all the simps and the incels on Joe Rogan. And I'm going to try to capture that group of people to make myself likable. And you know what? I think it worked.
What? It did not. I did?
Amongst that group of people.
Nick's going to pull it up. I missed this.
Amongst that group of people, it's worked. And so
the picture, it's a video. Oh, okay. Oh, he's boxing.
Okay, but look at the video. This is a steady cam shot.
Yeah. No.
Look at the blur. You see that?
There's like,
Nick.
Oh yeah.
Nick,
There's
I don't bring producer Nick on too often, but I need producer Nick to vouch here. What is this shot on? Is this on a red camera?
As hell.
Is this shot on a red camera? How long did it take to, because look at this, there's another shot, cut to another shot. Yep. I think there's about 8 shots in here in 90 seconds.
There are multiple angles.
Yeah, look at this. This guy's on the ground shooting. And I think you see the guy shooting in the mirror. And I bet you if we pause on that, Nick, if you could figure out how to pause on the shot of the guy in the mirror. I haven't done this yet, but I need a full investigation here. I need to know what camera this was shot on. Is it over the shoulder shot? Look at these cuts, Nick. Now he's lifting him up, throwing him down.
This is our new video.
Look at this. He got the neck thing going.
I just want to point out that Zuckerberg is kicking all the ass here too. Like it's this guy's taking all the heat. And this guy could knock Zuck out in one shot. Right. But he's like going slow and pulling his punches. But Zuck does look for the first time here legitimately athletic and badass as opposed to kind of hilariously androidy and pathetic.
Look at that. Okay, look at that roundhouse kick there. By the way, getting a roundhouse kick above your, shoulder, that's not inconsequential. And it looks like it does have a little power on it. So look, as a black belt in Taekwondo, I could tell you. Okay, there it is.
There's a tripod. There's a camera guy, full camera guy with a shoulder camera. All right. From what I can tell, yeah. This is what happens when Sheryl Sandberg. This is what happens when Sheryl Sandberg leaves, and then he starts getting some other PR advice. He wants to come out. He wants to be buff. He wants to be loved by incels and guys. Crypto guys. He's going full crypto audience.
Exactly. This is what he's trying to court. He wants to he went on Lex Fridman, Joe Rogan, and now he releases this. It's pretty obvious what he's doing. And by the way, the journalists...
Boy, the metaverse is going to be fun for ladies, isn't it?
No, it's going to be all dudes all the time. Here's what's happening, folks. This is a PR campaign by Zuck to be more likable, to get more people to look at him like people look at Bezos and Chamath and other cool CEOs. Mm-hmm. He does not feel cool. And he is now doing a PR campaign to try to be cool amongst men from 18 to whatever, 50.
You are so right. You are so right. Nick, he's not happy about his image.
His image sucks. People don't like him. And now, you know what? I kind of like him more. I like him more. I hate
to say it. He kind of got me.
He got me too.
He kind of got me.
I was like, oh, yeah, cool.
Oh, he kind of got me. He looks great. He looks lean and
he looks happy. He looks happy. He looks like a normal human.
He has good lats. His back is wide, but he's not like gross jacked like Bezos.
I noticed the quads.
Bezos is like HGH jacked. He looks too much. Zuckerberg looks healthy.
It's a good look. It's a good look all around.
Yeah, he looks good.
2 hours on. He went to Joe Rogan. He went to do Lex Friedman. He's doing the full incel, toxic masculinity tour.
Yep.
This is the toxic masculinity tour. It's the TMT. User privacy is one of the biggest topics in tech right now. And if you care about your privacy, you need to check out Brave, B-R-A-V-E. Brave is going to shield you from trackers and ads and cookies and all the creepy stuff that track you across the web. And they have 3 core products you need to know about. The one, the fastest browser you've ever used. Their core browser, the Brave browser. And they have an amazing search engine. It's not going to track you and do anything creepy like those other search engines. And they have a browser-native crypto wallet. Brave's browser has over 60 million users, including me, Jason Calacanis, on my mobile phone, on my Windows, and on my Mac desktop. I love my Brave browser. It's all built on Chromium. That's the open source Chrome project. It's amazing. All your favorite Chrome extensions work easy breezy, lemon squeezy. I got all my Grammarly and all my other extensions to just work, boom, like that. And they don't bog you down with all those slow ads crashing your computer. You can import your bookmarks, you can import your passwords, and all your settings from Chrome or any other browser with one click. I did this on all my machines. Brave Search is a truly private and independent search engine. The Brave browser, second to none. So download Brave today at brave.com/twist, brave.com/twist to browse faster, search privately, and so much more, all in a single click. Please use our URL so they know we sent you. Brave.com/twist. I'm retargeting
to
incels.
Be slightly less inflammatory, which I don't, to be clear, because this is going to make the metaverse absolute hell for anyone who comes in who is not, a 15
MMA
to
fighter?
35-year-old guy
not on
who
HGH?
wants to be a wannabe MMA fighter, right? Like this is the exact same crypto tour or PR playbook as whatever you would do for crypto. Like it's only a matter of time before the metaverse buys a stadium and you start seeing metaverse ads in every sporting event, which is going to make it hell for anybody else who wants to be there.
You want to know where this is leading? There'll be an announcement within 24 months that he's separating from his wife and he's going to be dating a celebrity in 36 months. I'm guaranteeing it. Guaranteeing it. He has figured it out. He's unloved. He doesn't have like a core fan base. Like who was the core fan base before this MMA video and Joe Rogan and Lex?
Fan base. There's no.
No, I'm asking. Let me ask Nick, because he's Nick's the one who's being targeted here. Yeah, young professional men. Because he also needs developers, Molly, and who wants to work there?
Right.
I don't think anybody wants to work for him. How many developer resumes, back-end engineers, whatever, do you think he's getting, Nick? After this video,
I have no idea.
It's got to go 2x.
Are you saying how many people that are in my age
are going
range
to want to work for him,
like him, and think he's cool?
How much has it changed? Because it's clear nobody thought he was cool.
Very little. I don't think that video is like widely circulated. But
what?
I will say
there is not on the internet.
I hadn't seen it.
If you're a man, you've seen it.
No. I think
really?
you live in a Twitter bubble.
Okay.
There is not.
I want to ask my kid if he's seen it.
That's what we find out if your kid has seen it, because that's the demographic he's going over.
There's a bravery about putting a video of you boxing, not being a boxer, on the internet, because it can go really, really poorly if it goes wrong. For instance, Tyler Hero, who is on the Miami Heat, he's a shooting guard. He put a video of himself like training in the offseason, doing like boxing training. And he just threw the most awful uppercut of all time. And he got clowned for, months afterward.
Doing this, Nick.
I still see the video. When you see Mark Zuckerberg snap a left hook and connect nicely, you're like, damn, all right.
Nick.
Damn, Zuck.
Okay. In January, we're going to do a photo shoot. I'm going to start showing some serious... I'm going to do some serious flexing. I'm going to do a flying sidekick over 4 chairs. Is Zuck making you feel
insecure? Are you
totally?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on here? Everybody's putting out boxing and fighting videos, and I'm an actual MMA fighter. I'm an actual black belt. I'm going to start flexing here. Pull up that's it. It's starting right now. Go to Instagram.com/ I think my old account, Jason Calacanis, or maybe it's on /Jason, and pull up my spider kick and my double front kick.
This is my
these are dated,
favorite show that we've done in ages. This is the best show we have done.
I am coming
since
out
I got here.
And this is it. I am no longer going to sit back and be passive. I'm making an MMA fight video.
Dude, we just figured out your PR stunt. You need to challenge Zuck. to a fight.
Whoa. That would be next level. Oh my God, I didn't think about it. 51-year-old J. Cal versus, what is he, 40? He's got to be 10 years younger than me.
He's still, I feel like maybe.
I got to be honest. It's a hell of a fight because he's 10 years younger than me. And like, it really does change from 40 to 50. Number two, but I obviously have technique. Like the amount of power I can generate is 3 times more than his, period, full stop. Okay. But let's put the pause on that for a second. The other thing is, he's got Aspie focus. Like, I got a lot of friends who are Asperger's, and he's obviously on the spectrum. He's been public about that. Those Aspie guys, when they get in a zone,
scary.
Like, I mean, his training, if he takes training seriously, like, he's got a level of focus that I may not have. But this is going to be...
take training seriously from that
I don't know if they found photos of me flying through the air doing... Because I was a specialist at flying kicks.
I will say, though, you're not going to get credit for videos from like 20 years ago. Like, I'm sorry. It's not going to count. It's not going to count.
It's okay. That's okay. I don't need to do flying kicks. I mean, when I start putting out some sidekick videos, and I'll get there's a machine that records your power for a sidekick and for a roundhouse kick. And we'll put an end to all this discussion and speculation very soon.
God,
so that's coming. So fun.
I will say I texted my son and he hasn't responded, but I am remembering that literally yesterday he texted me and his dad and he was like, hey, can I start taking boxing lessons?
Perfect. I think that's what it is. I think everybody's realizing this is it. Okay. So listen, I think Zuckerberg, obviously has no original ideas. He steals everything. And so I think a couple of years ago,
literally just trying to do what Joe Rogan did.
So the Mark Zuckerberg podcast is coming. Oh no, Zuckerberg's going to launch a pod. Oh my God, that's what's next. Zuckerberg is going to get amicably. What do they call it? Conscientious.
Conscious separation.
Decoupling.
Consciously separated. Decoupling. Yes.
He's going to consciously decouple. He's going to start dating some star. Like he'll be dating Lady Gaga or something. I don't know.
Somebody Pete Davidson, come on.
Pete Pete Davidson. They could be a throuple. It's a thing apparently.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're in the Bay Area or at Burning Man, it's throupling. Meet my wife and my girlfriend and her girlfriend, and we're a throuple. Okay. Interesting. So he'll be throupling and he'll have a pod. This is my bet because this is, if this was an iPhone video and it was a straight shot and it was 15 seconds of him just throwing 3 punches and a kick, this would not be major news. But the fact that he hired a Steadicam, I think it's a red camera probably, because what you'll notice in that video is they're actually slowing down certain parts of it. So this is about a $30,000 edit job, I'm going to say, to shoot and edit, $20,000 to $30,000 to make a video of that quality and that length. And I don't know if that's what he paid. He might have just had a friend, but I would say between $10,000 and $30,000 to put that out. And that was done by Facebook PR as a deliberate strategy.
Yeah. This is an image building, an image campaign, 100%. You are so correct.
Now, back to Instagram.
God help us.
He, at some point, realized how much money was being spent on e-commerce because he has the data, because all the e-commerce stuff was being spent on his platform. And he said to himself, if I'm going to get the headwinds of Apple not letting me target people, and then what that means is that Amazon's not going to be buying ads, right? Or not as many. So what do? Well, then you incorporate Amazon and marketplaces, eBay. You lose eBay and Amazon as advertisers. They're two of the biggest advertisers on the internet, obviously. On Facebook, do the marketplace, Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, Marketplace.
So does Facebook Marketplace to compete against Amazon, and then he uses Instagram to try to do it. Okay, 1 out of 2 worked. Great. But now he realizes I got this other war going on. I got to fight the other war on the other front, which is TikTok and the amount of balls he's losing. And so he grows some balls, apparently. And he's going to go balls out.
I mean, this really came
I'm talking about eyeballs, Molly. He's going eyeballs
really
out.
Came full circle again. It's beautiful.
He's eyeballs out.
We're so good at this. He's eyeballs out. Well, I like how we're just like spilling the tea today. So should we just gossip about Apple and their sad little announcements? That are all in service of, I think we can sum this up by saying everything we said the other day was right.
Okay.
That everything they're developing is in service of AR and VR. And so it's just going to be boring as hell for years until you get that.
Nonsense.
Yep. No M3, not even AirPods, no upgraded AirPods Max or whatever, the over the ear. I think some new version of the AirPods and then like a bunch of really expensive watch things and then a new phone that's just like the old
You know
phone.
what I
The
like?
end.
I like when you throw to a clip and we watch, 48 seconds of Tim Cook at their empty campus.
You know what we should do is we should watch 48 seconds of Tim Cook at the empty Apple campus, and that will tell us all we need to know.
Great. I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah.
I felt it coming. 48 seconds. We'll see you on the other side.
We're excited to introduce the next generation of AirPods Pro, our most advanced AirPods yet.
These advances come together in a magical way with spatial audio, which takes the listening experience to the next level by making sound feel like you are on stage with your favorite band performing around you. With iOS 16, you can use the TrueDepth camera on iPhone to create a personal profile for spatial audio. Another feature our users love is active noise cancellation. Now, you will have up to 6 hours of listening time from a single charge, which is a 33% increase over the original AirPods Pro. And with the charging case, you will have up to 30 hours of total listening time.
I want the bionic eyes and the bionic ears.
Blade Runner.
It kind of hurts after a while. Like, just give me the implants. I'm ready.
Put it in. Just cut my ear
I'm ready
out
for
and
the
put
implants.
an Apple ear. Can you imagine you had an Apple ear in? And then they start playing ads to you. You're sleeping and they're doing subliminal ads.
They really
Where are
would.
the anti-ads? But Apple is now doing subliminal messages to you. You're
And that
walking
right there
by
is
a Starbucks.
pretty much all you need to know about the Apple event today is that it was none of that. No AR, no VR, no implants, just more phones and headphones. Just
Oh my
more
God!
crap
Here's
for
a
your
good idea.
landfill.
Here's a good idea. Is there a video crew out there? Please leave all this in the show, by the way. Is there a video crew out there who could make parody Apple announcement for us? And Molly and I'll play Tim Cook. Molly will play one of these VPs.
One of the rando ladies that they pull up because they don't have any
one of
ladies in
the-
the C-suite. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the marginalized women who nobody knows
Seriously.
who they are.
I'll be the token. That's fine.
You could be the token, and they'll be like, VP of tokenism. Like, did you notice that they know? When they have women, do they actually give their titles, and the titles have anything to do with power and driving stuff at Apple, or are they?
I mean, it doesn't. Even if they do all of that, there are no women in the Apple C-suite.
How could a woke
and
company?
I don't think there have been
that's
for
not true.
decades.
Really? There are
pull
no
up their
women in
leadership
positions of that's pretty telling, actually. If I were to make a guess, I have not looked at their leadership page in 10 years. I'm going to guess right now that they will have some tokenism.
Oh, I'm so wrong. One.
There's one. Okay, no, but hold on. I'm not looking at the page, I promise you. I'm going to guess that the one token woman on the leadership team is in the job function of either, and this is going to get meta, they're either in comms, PR, marketing, or actual diversity.
So actually, okay, I found two.
Like, they're not going to be in charge of a product or technology.
One, Deirdre O'Brien is the Senior Vice President of Retail and People.
Okay, people, exactly. Like, it's a soft title. It's a soft title.
Nailed it.
Got it.
Catherine Adams is Senior Vice President and General Counsel.
Again, nothing to do with technology.
Right, exactly. She's their head
so
lawyer.
The two women do have no impact on product.
And then if you go down to page 2.
Okay, next level.
Below the fold.
Was that 2 of 10 on the leadership or 2 of 7? I'm just
4, 8, 12. 2 of
2
12.
of 12. So less than about 18%.
On the front, the top page. Then you scroll down a little
Smaller
bit. You've got
photos?
Lisa Jackson, who I've talked to, who's Vice President of Environment, Policy, and Social Initiatives.
Oh, does that have anything to do with product technology or any of the products that delight customers at Apple? No. Great. 3 for 3 here. 3 for 3 in...
Exactly. They're Vice President of Worldwide Comms.
4 of 4. 4 of 4. Okay.
And
no
then
impact on product.
You have this kind of vague, which might be a huge deal, but I'm not really sure, Vice President and Managing Director of Greater China.
No. That has to do with supply chain.
That's just business operations,
business operations.
Although under Tim Cook, business operations
I'm not saying I'm not saying any of these positions are not important. What I'm trying to make a point here is even the most woke
of 18
5
women.
Okay, but 18 out of 5 and fine. I don't know that number is disastrous. Obviously, you'd like to see it be higher.
Yeah.
But let's just assume that's not a disastrous number compared to their contemporaries. What I want to point out is
people of color, both of whom are women. None of the men are it's all the men are white.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is the point.
It's not good. Also, don't say woke. Woke is code in today's America for I don't want to have to see any black people. So I'm just saying.
Well, that's not how I interpret woke.
At a company that touts its progressive values.
Okay, sure, progressive values. That's what woke means to me. Sorry. But what progressive values, aka woke, for most people, or maybe not.
Nope.
I'll have to look it up because the consensus to me is woke is like virtue signaling.
Why do people think that the new Lord of the Rings series is woke?
Virtue signaling.
I'll tell you, because it has black people in it.
Oh, is it really just code for, in your mind,
it's code for
black
I don't want to have to either see or talk about black people.
Okay, fine. I thought, well, for
Maybe
me,
also like women or people of color, but mostly it's like I don't want to talk about all that crap because I find it annoying.
I thought woke was virtue signaling. So anyway, let's put it aside here. I'll meditate on it. I always take your.
We'll
I always take your. You're closer to the definition of woke probably than I am because I'm a moderate, and then I have friends who are on the right. You have no friends on the right. I'm a moderate. I'm between these two groups. Over here, I'm holding the line with my right wing friends, and then over here I have my left friends, and I'm just sitting here in the middle, my little independent self. Here's the thing. Of those 5 positions, the point I'm making is Apple has obviously put a lot of work into this, and the president is an openly gay man. This is massive progress in the world. And they have, a lot of diversity on that page. Fantastic. And I'm sure inside the organization, they put absolutely a ton of money into an effort into diversity and inclusion. You would agree? Maybe more than any company? They put more time and effort into it?
Apple?
Yeah. Of tech companies. Do you think they put more of tech?
Maybe
of
the big
Facebook,
5,
Google, Microsoft. Say? Would they be they take it seriously is what I would say.
I would suggest that Microsoft has probably done more than Google or than Apple.
Okay. But would you say they're taking it seriously and put a lot of effort and time into it? Clearly, right?
I don't know. Are they?
Okay. I think so.
Is that
for sure?
Apple's
they talk about it a lot.
Is it your sense that Apple talks about that a lot?
I do. I do think that they care about it deeply. Yeah, like anytime there is anything that has to do with diversity and inclusion, they seem to be talking about it and involved in it. Pride Month, anything that has to do with diversity and inclusion, I feel like they are talking about it and involved in it. That's what I think. But
I'm not even really bashing Apple. That just isn't my perception of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
The point I'd like to make is when you look at these pages, I think people are trying to make the pages look better. And the classic playbook that I see, and I'm not even making too much of a judgment on this because these are obviously very important roles in a company. Like general counsel is a super important role. Being in charge of China at Apple is really important.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
But I encourage people when they look at these to just think, how much of this has to do with the core business, in terms of the impact on touching the customers, right? And I think what we just proved here, I guessed that the majority of the titles would not be this person's in charge of chips, this person's in charge of the app store, this person's in charge of
hardware
software,
technologies, software engineering, services, machine learning, and AI.
Yeah. Not one. So still work to be done is what I would say. And I'm sure they're aware of it. And I actually think they probably have great intent. So there you have it, folks. I don't want to make this too much of a thing, but I do think that that's typically what I see. And in VC, we see it a lot too. So if you do this at a VC firm, who's meeting with founders, who's joining the board, who's writing the check, and then who's doing PR, who's doing accounting, who's doing back-end ops, who's doing human resources? Women.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, we just put a woman in that spot. We get our little checkbox, and we don't have to let them near the actual business.
Pretty much.
I don't mean to be cynical, but
no, that's 100% it, and we all know it. And the more we say it, the better. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, just listen.
Let's be honest.
I'm sure they're working on it, and it might be that like the hardware division has been 94% men, and there's 10 men who've been working at Apple for 30 years, who have the DNA and who are really good at that top job, and it's a logjam of absurdly qualified men. And it's just going to take time for them to mentor more people into those roles who have the same, pedigree and who deserve the job. It's got to be a meritocracy. You don't want to put the 6th best person for it, but there's a lot of work left to be done in our industry. Is I guess the point here.
Absolutely, and also
bull
ring event.
Poor All right. So anyway, they did something with the watch. They're doing an Ultra now.
Like
what is
it? Or something?
Wait a second. Apple Watch
They made
Ultra.
one that costs more. I mean, what do you like?
So it's ultra expensive?
It's ultra expensive. It costs more and it includes cellular instead of you paying for that extra.
Well, that's the same thing. If it
And it's
costs
more
more
sporty.
and they include it,
Right.
that's
You
the
either
same
paid
thing.
for it- you either paid for it to your cell phone carrier. This is just them taking the money instead of Verizon, I assume.
Okay.
And then it's like more beefy fur if you're an ultra marathoner or a diver.
Oh, look at that. 36 hours
More
of
like
life on a single
Rolex
charge is nice.
replacement.
Oh.
Perhaps.
All right, I'll buy it. I've been digging my watch. I'll buy this.
It's fine.
I'll buy it. You know why I'll buy it? They got me on 36
you're on your
hours
new-
of, well, I'm going to be doing my, my MMA match with Zuck for charity. But also 36 hours of charge to me is a game changer. That's that's why I love Fitbit for many years, but they kept breaking on me. So I went Fitbit to Apple Watch, and the Apple Watch, I only moved to it when I could get a 24-hour charge.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of barely gets there. I'll be totally honest.
I find the battery life of the Apple Watch to be sort of specifically irritating because it's not a full 24 hours. And I want to wear it at night.
Yes,
because I
but
like
you have to charge
use it
at night.
as my alarm
And sleep.
But
Data.
you really kind of can't because then it's dead by the morning. And so you have to like try to, and sometimes it dies and then the wrist alarm doesn't go off, which sucks. Yeah, it's a problematic battery life. 36 hours would be much more manageable.
What about iPhone 14? Let's get to that. Because that was, that's a number change, right? We all have the 13 Max, whatever.
Yeah.
And they went to
Nothing.
14. So what
The big
is
news
new
about
and
the
interesting
Apple-
about 14?
Okay, here's what's shocking actually about iPhone 14. Still no USB-C charging.
I mean, the fact that we're still talking
I'm
about this is
actually
just dumb.
astonished by. No, I am legitimately and sincerely shocked by that. Like considering that I think the EU is going to start to regulate it. We're talking about regulating
India,
every
I think
other-
India's on this. Yeah, India's on it. Yeah.
I cannot believe that they're just like, here's a phone. It has
You
a
wanna know
fancier
something else?
camera. You can no longer get a small one. The end. And no USB-C.
All right. You know what's also dumb about this? I'm trying to find an adapter. Now, if I want to have I got my MacBook Pro here, M1.
Mm-hmm.
It has 4 USB, or 3 USB-Cs, which is wonderful. 2 on this side, 1 on that side. I really do love it. And I always carry with me those little dongles where I can plug in the USB-C and then get the old style USB 2 port.
Yep.
So I can plug in something like this.
USB-A.
USB-A.
Yep.
So USB-C to USB-A, you can buy Anchor 3 packs for $5, and I put those dongles like I'm putting peanut M&Ms in a jar. I keep 2 in every bag. I throw them in my backpacks. I put them, in my desk drawers. They're cheap. Why can't I have the same exact thing that goes into my iPhone with a Lightning connection and gives me a USB-C on the other side? Nobody makes them. If we had that, it would be the exact same as having USB-C because you would put one in the bottom of your goddamn iPhone and turn your iPhone with just a little extra little dongle or adapter. And then you could just keep a USB-C by your phone, by your desk, by your car, and keep that little dongle there. And you could attach it to the end of the cable. Because I have Anchor cables, which have the extra dongle, so I can change it from USB micro to USB-C to iPhone Lightning. Yep. Why don't I have that little dongle? I don't know.
That? But why do you need that little dongle is the other question. I mean, I would, I would hold on to a phone longer if I had that because then I would just have one cable to charge them all. But yeah, like the EU has agreed to mandate USB-C by 2024 and Apple just dropped a phone that still has Lightning. I don't understand, but I will say I'm not getting a new iPhone until it has USB-C. Like the 13 Pro is a great phone. There's no reason for me to upgrade.
Yeah,
and I'm just putting you guys on notice. Like I'm not doing it. Yeah, but now they have to replace it.
Oh, right. This is the thing about
They had
Apple.
to be forced into that. Again, this is
so
like
lame.
So bad for the environment. And again, it's 3 different cables to charge. Like some like to charge my MacBook, phone, and watch is 3 different cables. You got to be freaking kidding me.
So dumb.
We do this every time. This rant is so tired.
It's so tired. Anyway, let's move on. I would like to do the but I want to do the one positive story. Let's just do this.
We got all want here. Yeah, this is a great story. Actually, this is fantastic. So we have a terrible digital divide in this country. The gap between people in America who can get broadband internet and who cannot is extreme and appalling and hits students the hardest, especially during the pandemic. I mean, you had kids like camped out outside libraries trying to get Wi-Fi so that they could,
it's ridiculous,
do schoolwork, and school districts have been put on the hook in some cases for solving this. They spent millions of dollars during the pandemic giving kids hotspots to take home. So now 7 U.S. public school districts have announced or are already piloting Starlink internet access for student homes, for rural students' homes. And it's amazing. This is amazing.
Wait a
It's
second.
fantastic.
So this is not for the school's internet. They're saying we're going to pay for our students to have internet at home. 400 households with 700 students are using Starlink under a $1.2 million grant from COVID-19 school relief money. Some students live in remote areas more than 50 miles away from their schools. Wow. Well, that's an hour or more commute away. Schools are unsure if Starlink will be a sustainable solution due to the cost. Okay.
So yeah, it's for homes. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, if we think about which homes cannot afford broadband.
Or can't get it.
Okay,
right?
there are two issues. Yeah, it's both.
The two issues, right.
I'm trying to think, because I think broadband is down to $40 a month. So that's, 3
Depending
hours
on
of
where you
minimum
are,
wage.
Not everywhere.
Yeah, that would be 3 hours of minimum wage in the country, generally speaking, or average wage. So it's within reach of almost every household. We have 80% penetration, I think, broadband in the United States at home, 70, 80%. So we're really dealing with a very low number of households here.
42 million, according to the FCC.
Wait, 42 million households don't have broadband?
Don't have broadband.
Okay, so of those 42, how many can't afford it? It's probably 10%. So we might be talking about only 4 million households. It's a financial issue, and then maybe the rest is because they can't get it. We have to understand that number because there's 3 reasons they don't have it. It's not available is one, which is now solved by Starlink. Number 2, they can't afford it, which is solved by Starlink in at least half the cases.
I mean,
And then number 3 is they don't want it.
Starlink is expensive.
I think you can get it for $80 a month too. I think, but it's not cheap. But it will come down by 50%.
Sure,
but
it's $600
for
the equipment and $110 a month for the service. Yeah, I would not assume. One thing I would push back on is that I wouldn't assume that the $40 a month broadband pricing is actually available in rural areas. Like what you're dealing with is regional monopolies. A lot of times it's satellite. They can kind of charge whatever they want, and they do, right? So that you've got like maybe AT&T, some satellite service out there, and it's $80 or $100 a month because who's competing with them? No one. And the infrastructure doesn't exist. So it is a combination. It's pricing in some cases and just simple availability. Like there isn't.
So let's say, let's just do back of the envelope math. This would be like $500 a year. This will wind up being $500 a year, I bet. Like $40 a month, $50 a month, $40 a month is where this is headed. Because there's going to be 2 competitors to Starlink that are coming, right? Amazon's backing one and there's another one. So I think this trends down to $40 a month, which is $500 a year. I'm just thinking like 2 years out. Let's say of those 40 million homes, half of them choose not to have broadband, which I think is reasonable. And then half of them is because they can't get it. Let's just say of those 5 million.
We got the research on that, by the way. 6% cannot get it at all. 6% of the 42 million simply cannot access it.
Got it. Okay.
It's not available. Yeah.
I'm going to go with 5 million homes need to be addressed here. Just for a number. Could be 10, it could be 2. Let's just go with 5 million. $500 a year, $5 million, $2.5 billion. $2.5 billion, if you divide it by 330 million Americans, means that each American would have to pay $7.50 per year to get those other homes online. And now, if you made it only the responsibility of the top 10% of society, i.e. you and I, in terms of our salaries, that would be 33 million Americans. If 33 million Americans, I'm talking about me, you, Molly, and anybody else who is hearing my voice who makes over 6 figures a year in household income, top 10%, right? Or maybe a little bit more than that in a household income. It would cost us all but $75 in extra tax a year to take the bottom of society in terms of need, the most needy, to get those 5 million households online. And each household will have 3 people in it. So you're talking about, the bottom 5% is 15% I'm just talking about in terms of income. I'm not making a judgment on anybody's character, but the lowest income, I guess, would be the nicest way to say it. I'm trying to be sensitive.
Right.
So if the top 10% want to take care of the lowest 5% in terms of income, it costs us but $75 a year. Molly, may I ask you a question? May I tax you $75 a year to take care of the weakest amongst our society? Okay. May I charge you $150?
Yes. 100%.
$300. Can I charge you $300 a year, $1 a day for you to help these other people?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So anyway, what are we talking about here? Right. Pay for it.
Just pay for it.
Just pay for it. Charge the top 10% of society $75 a year. I'm sorry for cursing. And just give these people broadband because they can't be part of society without being part of broadband. It's an easy thing for us to do as a society. There's nothing controversial here. Just do it.
I love your socialist outlook here. I can't wait to tell you about the $200 billion that we taxpayers gave all of these telco providers to build out their infrastructure, and how they didn't. They didn't do it.
Well, this is why private markets are so important in competition.
Because COVID, yes, boom. Like now Starlink exists. Suck it, AT&T. You have no more excuses.
AT&T, take a long, hard look in the mirror. You're horrible humans. Horrible human beings. And shout out to my guy for, this is going to be a big part of his legacy, I think. Like a really bright, awesome part of his legacy. And I'm really excited for him and for all these people who can't get access to the internet because, let's face it, if you have access to the internet, you're going to do really well. You're going to do really well, and everything's going to go your way. Literally, you can learn anything you want. Like, I'm going to try to figure anything, but I'd say 9 out of 10 skills that are important in the world, you can just go on YouTube and learn. I mean, I really would like to hear somebody tell me 10 skills that you can't go on YouTube and get to 50, 60, 70% proficiency on.
We live in the Matrix. You can jack in like freaking Neo in the Matrix and you can learn whatever you need to learn.
Just do it. I mean, as a society, listen, I'm not a socialist. I am a pragmatist. What I will tell you is, as a pragmatist, if this $75 investment for the top 10% of society means that there'll be more people to work at my company, more people who don't make bad decisions in their life because they feel helpless and not part of society, and then they do something that's not constructive for anybody. Like
more founders, more entrepreneurs,
more developers, more just people contributing to society, and also a happier society. And so for me to be able to drop $75, which, let's be honest, is what I'm going to drop on the stupid lobster salad today when I'm meeting with the reality TV producers to go full circle, because I want to impress them to make sure they understand that I'm going to order the most expensive salad so that they have respect for me, because they only respect people who have money, and that's how society works, and I'm just gaming society. I'm going to spend $75 on a salad, with the tip and everything. I don't care. Like, just please pay for this.
Get it done.
Okay, everybody, that's it for the news. Next up, Molly's going to join me for the Blueprint episode 9.
I know. I'm so honored.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Blueprint. This is part 9 of our 10-part quick hit mini-series. We're trying to do things in 10, 15 minutes or less that help you dramatically. And when I say dramatically, I mean like they just alter the course of your life. We've done 8 of these. They've gone really well. I've gotten incredible feedback on these, and I thought I would bring my partner in crime, my sister, my Molly Wood, to talk about being delusional and setting absurd goals inside an organization and for yourself. Welcome to the Blueprint for the first time, Molly Wood.
I'm so excited. The Blueprint is my favorite.
Well, listen, you have become extraordinarily successful, and I think it's something that people should also hear about. You went from, a small town and wound up at CNET, the New York Times, NPR, public radio, whatever, marketplace. I'm not sure which part of public radio that was part of, but these are like 3 of the top names. In fact, the 3 top names probably in technology and reporting that there are. This is like as big as it gets. And then you became a venture capitalist, which 6 or 7 journalists have ever done in history. Michael Moritz, myself, O. Malik, M.G. Siegler. It's a short list. So you know this better than anybody.
Poor guy. He's choking. Jason's like,
No, I mean, you do know it better than anybody. So how did you manifest it? Because let's face it, also you were I'm not sure if you're aware of this, you were also a woman in tech during an era when there were very few. and the women in tech in the 90s into the 2000s were relegated to positions of PR and marketing, and very rarely even reporting, because, hey, that was serious guy stuff. But you could certainly do PR. How did you have the chutzpah, and what was it like to sort of break into that?
Well, I mean, this is perfect, actually, I think, because the thing we want to talk about today is this idea of sort of magical thinking, of not being held back by logistics or of using logistics in your favor. And so, I mean, the simplest answer in the first place is a series of happy accidents. But what I really did become in my career is an intrapreneur. So at CNET, we were not only reporting on the digital transition, we were building it, right? We were creating one of the first video portals on the web at the same time as contemporaries with YouTube. We were creating podcasting. We were developing CRMs that we would, content management systems that were CMSs that we would then sell to other publishing companies. I wrote a business plan for a 30-minute broadcast quality web show that we then used to get a video on demand deal with Microsoft. So there was a lot of sort of internal building that was predicated on the idea that I would have a crazy idea, but that it could get done. And that if somebody was like, that's a crazy idea, I would be like, that's not the point. The point is, how can we do it?
Now, when you were hired, they hired you to be talent, if I'm correct. And I would like to understand, when you decided, okay, here I am being the on-air talent, did they allow you, encourage you, or dissuade you from writing the business plan, from researching the technology that's out there and saying, hey, this is the direction we should go in, both as talent and as a woman in tech? Because both of those things I would think would be headwinds at that time.
CNET, actually, I was totally just a little grunt reporter who was spotted and developed into talent. And then I was encouraged to come up with show ideas and write a business plan for the show. And so it all depends on where you are and how willing they are to engage in that type of magical thinking. For example, CNET was like, let's go. Let's develop a video portal. Let's invent podcasting.
Why? Why was CNET like that? And why was New York Times, I assume, not like that?
Right. New York Times, not like that.
Okay, so explain to people who are young in their careers of why like an older institution like the New York Times versus a startup like CNET, which had a startup, which literally was a startup, why the difference in going to work at those two places, what the pros and the cons are for people who are starting their career here and looking at your blueprint for, becoming Molly Wood.
It is. I love that this is the blueprint for becoming Molly Wood. That was I didn't see that one coming. Startups have a different mentality because they have not yet found the core of their business. And they don't have such legacy kind of brand detritus in a way. So they can try new things. They can experiment they're also trying to experiment with new business models, right? Because you're trying to grow your business. You're trying to figure out what your business is going to become. What is your ultimate product market fit? What other products can you add on that might be additive revenue? And then what happens is that's a very fun time to be at a company, and you have a lot of people who really want to achieve, and they're hitters, and you're playing with the A team, and you're developing and developing and developing. What happens as a company grows or becomes legacy, like the New York Times or CNET after CBS bought it, is that eventually you do have a core business model. And if you're not part of that core business model, it can be a lot less fun. And your entrepreneurial streak will be less welcome. So at the New York Times, tech is not their core business model. It's just not. So I had two things going for me or against me there. One, I was covering tech at the New York Times. Now, they did put money into covering tech. It's like a big story, but they didn't really know how to do it. And what they really value is like being a foreign correspondent or politics coverage.
Yeah.
So I would say wherever you are, try to be close to the core of power, because you will get more resource, you'll have more freedom, and you'll be able to play a little bit more with your job.
So there are in fact organizations that are encouraging innovation, play, new ideas, new projects. And then there are ones who are concerned about damaging the core products that they've spent a century or two building and refining. The New York Times has something to lose, their reputation, the quality of the expectation of when somebody comes to a New York Times thing, that it hits a certain standard. CNET, people may have never heard of it. The first time they hear about it might be this new podcast web show. It might be this new blog. It might be this new TikTok channel. So they're going to allow young people starting in their career to maybe have a little more agency, a little more creativity as they triangulate on a business model. I think this is really important for people to consider.
The stage, the age, and the brand of your company matters a lot. When companies are building and they're trying to establish themselves, you will have some more freedom. Or when you get to Marketplace, which is American Public Media, no one knows the difference between them and NPR, but they're both big national public radio brands and kind of frenemies. You have an aging business model and a need for innovation. And then you can have some fun too. Then you can really be the entrepreneur. You can come up with, I like to call them the moonshots. Like, I was like, hey guys, let's do a deeply reported 4-year ongoing series about climate tech and then cap it off with a 8-episode narrative podcast about lithium and battery technology. And they'll be like,
this is
that sounds awesome.
You go to CNET. This is the blueprint for becoming Hollywood. You go to CNET, they give you a lot of freedom. There's nothing to lose. You go to New York Times, you get massive credibility. Yep. And then you go to, Marketplace, NPR, and they're having their lunch eaten by podcasts and other competitors. So now they're like, you know what? We do need to innovate. We do need a little of that pixie dust. We do need to try new things. And you pick a category that is underreported and that is going to be important in the world. So you found a topic that you could connect yourself to, and you could skate to where the puck is going, as Wayne Gretzky would say of why he was such a good hockey player. He wasn't skating to where the puck was. He was thinking about where it's going. Now, if you go a little bit to where the puck's going, there may not be anybody there. You may get there and it's kind of lonely. And so this is a little bit of a skill to pick something and be a little risk-taking, maybe unpack a little bit of how you identified that as something that not only were you passionate about, which is important, but that was important to the world.
I think that's a really good observation, and it's 100% true. And it was true at the time that I was, identifying tech topics. Like, I think considering the tech press, I was relatively early I have a video from 2009 that says, is Facebook evil? Like, I skated a little bit to the hey guys, maybe tech isn't as great as we all think it is.
Yeah, there could be downside here, yeah.
Could be a little bit of a downside. At the New York Times and certainly at Marketplace, I worked really hard to reframe tech as the biggest business story in the world as these companies were starting to become the biggest businesses in the world. Yeah. And to say, I know you think that tech is a topic, but the tech beat, what I saw is that the tech beat was becoming the electricity beat. What is there to cover about tech? Tech is. It is all.
It's everywhere.
There is nothing that is not a
tech
part of
is
that.
Life.
So
it's impacting every aspect of life. There is nothing that is not being impacted. And now the reward for getting there early is something I think we need to discuss. So when you're picking this new project to do, and you're picking a new topic, and you're trying to manifest it, you go into it, I assume, with, well, obviously this is going to be important. And part of my job is to get people over here to join us, right? We're all over here where the puck is. Y'all are back there talking about, websites. We really kind of need to talk about temperature, batteries, solar, EVs, and everything else that's happening there. It's kind of fun to get there early. It's like and have people arrive. Mm-hmm. Speak to the credit you get when you do hit that, because you could make a mistake. You say, hey, listen, you could be in the same time period in 2009. You could have said, listen, I think this, VR thing is going to change everything. And you could have went over there and nobody shows up for your party, which is basically what's happening with VR, right? Like you're sitting there waiting for people. Now, listen, it might, when Apple shows up with their headset and AR shows up, maybe that party is going to be kicking. But a lot of people I know started making investments or building companies, and they thought, well, VR's here. I'm talking about before Oculus was even owned by Facebook Meta. Mm-hmm. It used to be an independent company that did a Kickstarter. And people thought this is it in 2005 to 2010. And it wasn't it. So maybe talk about the benefits of actually when you do hit it. It just could be 10 years. You're skating to where the puck's going. And by the way, it's still moving. You still got to go a little further down the ice. So let's talk about that, of getting it right. What have you seen as the reward for having gotten climate right?
I think that the reward is for me at least, now getting to pivot into a really active role in this business, this developing business story, and getting to write checks that can enable businesses and companies to flourish and jobs to be created. I am of the opinion after 22 years in journalism that you don't actually get credit for the work that you do. And so it doesn't really matter. Like, it's great that I got there early. Maybe I'll get, more speaking gigs out of it, but now is now. And, for a long time, I would go into conversations thinking, these people must know about my body of work. They must know about Buzz Out Loud from back in the day, or the How We Survive podcast series, which is like the best journalism work I ever did. They don't. No. I just assume that they don't. Maybe there is a universe in which I will become the Kara Swisher of climate tech, and I hope that's the case, and I'm going to work hard at it. But the safest assumption you should have as a person who's trying to build a new thing is that no one knows what you did before. All they know is what you're telling them now and the plan that you're bringing them, and that plan has to say, here's how we both benefit. That plan can never be, here's what will make me awesome. It's like, we will both win. We will both make money here.
I'll tell you what it did do for you. It did build credibility, and that you had enthusiasm for it. So you were credibly enthusiastic about it. And so for me, as a decision maker on the other side, saying, hey, should we give this person a shot? And should we try to partner with them? It was like, well, they're credible and they're passionate about it. And if the world notices that you have credibility about something and that you're passionate about it, well, that eliminates a lot of the risk for the world engaging with you. And I did a similar thing in a similar time period where I just said, this angel investing thing that I did as a Sequoia Scout is fascinating to me. And I just said to myself, what if more people did this? Because I did this open angel forum and 10 angels would come, or it started at 5 and then it went to 10 and then it went to 15. And I was like, what if we actually back a company that becomes big? And we did Uber, Thumbtack, StyleSeat, and a dozen others that became unicorns or otherwise big companies. And so what I did in my mind, and it was quite deliberate, I will say, is I said, what if this was bigger than it is today? What if more people participated in it? And I said to myself, I wonder if someday I can have 1,000 people in my angel syndicate, because there's 150 people in it. And I had gone from 5 to 10 to 15 people coming live, and I had moved Open Angel to 5 or 6 cities. We're doing it in Boulder, New York, Boston, DC, LA, and San Francisco. And I put people in charge of each one. Chris Sacco was famously running San Francisco with Kevin Rose, and my friend Brian Alvey was running New York when he lived there. And then all of a sudden I had 6 or 7 cities with 10 or 15 people, and it got to 100. I had the emails of 100 angel investors. And I just thought to myself, what if I added a 0? What if that happened? And what if we hit an actual deal that became a unicorn? And holy cow, both of those things happened. But then what I didn't realize was I didn't actually hit a 0. I actually hit 2 zeros. And in the case of Uber, 3 zeros. Because listen, we went from 100 angels to 1,000, and now we have over 10,000 angels on the syndicate. Uber went from 1 billion to 10, and kind of trajectory is probably 100 billion. And so one of the things people, I think, underestimate is scale. Yeah. Things can scale to levels you don't anticipate. So this little podcast on climate, 5-part series, 4-part series, whatever it is, and it's seen, 1 million people listen to it. Well, then here you are on This Week in Startups. Okay, now we got, 6 months of these 30 episodes of you interviewing climate people. Okay, we'll add a 0 to that, and it'll be 300. And then maybe there'll be, how many people are in the climate syndicate now? 200 or 300?
Yeah.
Okay, it'll be 2,000 or 3,000.
Let's get 3,000. Yeah.
Exactly. And then it might be 30,000.
It's a snowball.
Yes. And you really have to take a moment to just envision that and be delusional for a second. Yeah. And I did that inside of our company a couple of times. And I said, well, what if This Week in Startups was every day? Like it's once a week. But what if it eventually got to twice a week? We'd have 100 episodes a year. And then here we are doing 6 episodes a week. And so I encourage people to take whatever they think the scale of something is, and then just 10x it, or add a 0 or 100x it, and just think what it would do at that level. And what is now happening with our syndicate is, we could do 100 million deployed a year. And then actually, if you look at it, well, maybe if we had 3 or 4 times the number of people here, it could be $1 billion deployed a year. And so I've been just trying to, in my own mind, expand the aperture and just allow myself to think about that. And I did think, well, what if I was the best angel investor in history? And okay, we're kind of top 10 or whatever we are, 5, who knows? And then I said, well, what if I was the best investor ever in Silicon Valley? Because I got 20 years to work on it. you might as well take a chance and say, what if I was the most influential, best person? And when they write the Power Law Book 2, we just had the Power Law author on. What a great interview. Thanks for doing it with me. Well, they're going to have to write about somebody in the next book, right? There'll be another book 20 years from now. And when they put those two sets together, we now have 1970 to 2040. That's 70 years of venture. Somebody will define the next 20 years. And I just said to myself, well, why not me?
Yeah.
Has to be somebody. Yeah. And so I encourage people who are listening, just like you did, why not you being the number one investor in climate? Why not you having the largest syndicate? Why not you being the voice of that? Well, somebody has to be. And if you shoot for the number one and you shoot for that and you try to manifest it, well, at least you have a target. And if you shoot for the, if you shoot for the stars and you get the moon, it's a pretty good deal. So I think that's the subject here of the blueprint. And any further thoughts on this delusional manifestation and really trying to create new things in the world and skating to where the puck's going?
I love that.
Back on your career.
The only thing that I would add to the second half of my career is that I think that I always thought big, and I'm super excited to be somewhere where instead of the opposite, the goal is to think bigger. So the blueprint really is 100% think big. Think about a thing that hasn't been done before and say, who cares?
Yeah.
That it hasn't been done before. And then think, what more can I add to that? And frankly, like that literally just became my goal for the second half of my career, is to add a 0 to my thinking.
All right. Well, it's been a great career, and it's been great working with you for the last 6 months. This has been the Blueprint Part 9. If you have a topic, an idea for the 10th as we wrap this up, this has been the Molly edition of the Blueprint, and just thinking about how Molly made it happen. It's really interesting. I think like we might look back on this episode 10, 20 years from now, you and I, and just get a real kick out of it to see.
I think so.
Somebody put a timer, like, on Twitter, they say, remind me of this in 10 years. Could somebody do that on YouTube? Is there like a function on YouTube where you just email this to us every 10 years? We'll be 80 years old. Like, oh, look at that video. We actually predicted it. Molly saved the world. She created that new fusion. She seeded that fusion thing that with the desal that created all those delicious synthetic fish that we eat now.
Right? I mean, there's
possible.
No
Why
reason.
Not?
There is no reason that can't happen. None.
Somebody's got to do it. All right. And so get inspired, people.
Stamp.
Yeah. Get inspired out there and try to make something big in the world and challenge yourself. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. That was a great show. We kind of went all over the place, Molly.
We did. We got big hotel energy. I love it. I actually love it. Sometimes we're just having some fun.
I am sleep deprived. I need to get a little more sleep. You're sleep deprived. I'm sleep deprived. We're trying to catch up, baby. To the audience, we're trying to catch up. We might get there by the end of the week. We might actually be sleep deficit neutral. So tune in tomorrow and find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be a mess. I'm going to want a room service during the show tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.